After my last video where I mentioned 3 reasons why the PFL is better than the UFC, I'll make a video called 4 reasons why the UFC is better than the PFL. This is purely talking about a company standpoint, not about the fighters, but a company standpoint. First of all, I want to mention that I did not change my mind. My arguments as to why the PFL is better than the UFC, I still think are valid. And second, I don't hate the PFL. I enjoy their events and their fighters. I don't hate the PFL. So let's get those things clear. Now we shall begin. And also, I want to clarify that I will be comparing UFC with the John Martin era of PFL. So I won't hold them accountable for the past mistakes such as spending too much money on previous fighters, bad production issues, and not giving the fighters enough fights, because that's Don Davis era, which is done. So I will give PFL a clean slate and judge them only on things based off the John Martin era. Because as for whether or not fighters are not getting enough fights or not, it's still too early to call, because they've only had 1 event so far. So give it more time, and then I'll judge whether or not the PFL with the John Martin era is giving their fighters at least 3 fights a year. Point number 1. Why is it that the PFL events conflict with major UFC events? Are they trying to compete for eyeballs with the UFC in America? Especially in a country where Americans, MMA fans, are UFC heads. They only know and care about the UFC, not other promotions. So why are they having events conflicting with major UFC events? For instance, April 11th, there's PFL Chicago featuring Sergio Pettis versus Mitch McKee's main event, and Jordan Newman versus Josh Silveira as the co-main. On the same day and time in the same country, Miami, we have UFC 327 featuring Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg for the vacant light heavyweight title, and Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira for the flyweight title. Do you really think that in America you're gonna compete for more eyeballs with the UFC? I mean, come on. And plus, PFL is not at the phase where they can make events every single week, like the UFC. So why make it when there's a big UFC event like this? Now this ties into reason number 2. Why are they rushing their prospects? Going back to this picture, we have Mitch McKee, 11-0 yes in the LFA, and they're rushing him to Sergio Pettis, PFL's top bantamweight. Why are they rushing him to the Wolves too soon? At least the UFC nowadays, not in the old days, but nowadays, with their new prospects, they give them smaller fights to build them up, give them more time to hone their craft, and then slowly build them up to higher competition so that they don't feel overwhelmed and undergo as much psychological pressure. So why is the PFL giving Mitch McKee Sergio Pettis in his debut? Here I can understand PFL's hot welterweight prospect, Patrick Habarora, will face UFC legend Benson Henderson, because PFL is making this match so that they can bring more eyeballs to their promotion. Yes, Benson is washed up, well past his prime, over 40 years old, but at least he brings eyeballs to the promotion. Unlike Mitch McKee, who brings far less eyeballs than Benson Henderson. So there's no excuse for Sergio Pettis versus Mitch McKee. Reason number 3. Why are they making events on weekdays when people are working? Makes no sense. Take this for instance. We have my boy, Costello Vanstinas versus Fabian Edwards 2 on Friday, March 20th. Why on a Friday when people are working? You might say, oh, people will be off work, but not in the West Coast. And also another one. Paul Hughes, one of PFL's hot superstars, versus the Maori kid JJ Wilson, Thursday, April 16th. Why? Now for reason 4, my favorite reason. What they need to work on is advertising and marketing, because several people do not know about their events until it happens or after. Like for instance, the PFL Dubai. Nobody knew that Usman Nurmagomedov was fighting until after it happened. It wasn't well advertised. So they need to work on that. And I know the solution to help you with advertising. PFL, please hire me to be one of your official promoters to market your events. I'm not going to be asking for millions of dollars like some celebrities to promote them. Pay me less money and I will put in more work. You see here? Here's my petition. Link in bio. Sign it and bring awareness to the PFL to hire me as a promoter for a lower cost and more product. Because I will market more than the ones you pay millions of dollars for with less money asked.